Great peace, Yakoki. So you see here, this is 170 million years ago. This is how this side of the globe looked. Africa and South America is one, and they're joining North America. Now, let's go over here real quick and see what this says, right? 170 million years ago, Jurassic period, Earth was dominated by dinosaurs. There were no humans, no apes, and no primates yet. No Y-DNA haplogroups, no mtDNA haplogroups. When haplogroups actually began around 200,000, 300,000 years ago. Okay? That's what we're looking for, right? That's what we looking for. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's go about. Okay, let's go about 20 million. Okay, so 20 million. So out of Africa. So at some point during this time when the lands had split, they must have knew that the lands were together at one point. So you get L haplogroup, right? So that basically splits. The earth splits and then later comes humans. So about 20 million years ago, right? Let's say you have a human, right? 600,000 years ago, 300,000 years ago, you get L haplogroup. Now, if the lands were together at one point, right? Whose inheritance is this? Whose inheritance is this? If the first out of Africa theory, right? You say L haplogroup, the first out of Africa theory was that human split. That's the out of Africa theory, that human split. So people are denying the fact that Africans are not supposed to inherit this side of the earth because they're not A or they're not B or they're not C or they're not D or they're not Q or they're not X haplogroups, which some of them are, right? Some of them are, right? If you want to be technical about it, you can see here that the lands are together. You can see here at this period, 260 million years ago, that the lands are together. So how is it that you get a people, right? You get a people and you say, how is this not their inheritance? If you're the first people out of Africa, right? The first of all the human civilization, the first people to ever exit a side or a part of the earth. You're the first people. Then you make people and you leave these people, right? You leave these people in America, right? Or these people, they get to America while you're still in Africa. And then they tell you that this is not your inheritance, even though you made them. Like, you know how crazy that sounds? Do you know how crazy that sounds? So that's the whole American Indian thing. Is that Africans, right? They're foreign. This is not their land. The whole immigration theory, right? It's made up, it's made for Africans. It's made for Africans. The whole immigration theory. The whole idea of having Africa, right? And you have America, right, that deals with immigration offices. The whole idea of having immigration offices is to deal with the African and their passings. Not anyone else, right? Because these are the first people, right? These are the first people because they carry the L haplogroup. You see? Like, look at this. Look at this. You got South America and Africa basically on top of each other. 90 million years ago. 90 million years ago. 66 now it's kind of getting further apart. It's getting further apart. You see? You see what I mean? Now this is how it looks today. Like, people should think about that though. They should think about that. They should think about that. I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 million years if something came up out of here, out of the Atlantic Ocean. I would not be surprised. Now these lands are populated with humans. So if you get the L haplogroup theory, this basically means that Africans have an inheritance everywhere over the globe because the globe at one point in time was connected. They have an inheritance story. But that's all I want to say. So bottom line is that at 170 million years ago, the concept of a haplogroup doesn't apply. Those genetic lineages only emerged with modern humans in Africa within the last 300,000 years. Okay. So this race that you call human is very young compared to the planet. It's very young compared to the planet. And even then, like, it's some stuff that need to be cleared up out of that because, like, how do you get a race that's so young and they're able to travel up out of these Americas, these Africa, these Europe, these Asia? How do you get a race that's so young that's able to travel to another planet or travel to another satellite or a moon or a sun? How do you get that? So think about that. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. That's all I want to say. Great peace, Yakoki.